I wonder how much of me talking is actually going to show up over the brushing. Not that it matters. Damn it, this is a vanity project. I have vanity. I want to hear myself talk. Well, the engine's out, which means it's probably time to work on the clutch. Don't want that old stock clutch in there. Got to get something that can stand up to some abuse. Alright, so the bad news is this thing likes to turn as I'm taking off the bolts. The good news is the company that made my new clutch provided a tool that might help with that if I figure out the best way to... No, that's okay. And I think this is just going to work for centering purposes. I don't think it's going to work for actual use. Okay. I don't imagine that using the breaker bar is actually going to help, except just make it easier to spin. Okay. Yeah, once I get it going, it should be no problem. And then because Ford being Ford, there's 6 bolts here. One of them is SAE at a half, and the other are either 10 millimeters or they are like a weird 17/32. I'm gonna have to get star bits for that, I bet. So it looks like I'm going to have to open the brand new clutch and flywheel to make sure that I actually have flywheel bolts in here, because I don't see them through the package, but it's recommended that you change them out at the same time because they get a little stressed up against the engine there. So let's take a look. Of course, the hex keys are under there. Oh, wow! First try! I do not have new flywheel bolts, okay. Alright, looks like my best bet is to manufacture a tool to keep that gear steady while I try to get the bolts loose. Okay. There's that battery. Seriously? Okay. Alright, fresh off the charger. This better be the one. Alright, that's probably good. For a second there, I thought I had that. Really? I picked the one thing that isn't threaded. Oh, you dumb fuck. And there's nothing wrong per se about using the impact gun to take these things out, but I was worried about uncontrollably spinning the engine if I used the impact gun and broke them loose without having the flywheel completely secured. So now that it's secured and the bolts are loose, I don't mind using it to take them the rest of the way out. Oh shit. Alright, so there's not much in life that I take seriously, but I am going to take commitment to keeping this face where the pressure plate goes nice and clean. I'm also going to take seriously the ability of these to get torqued gently. And of course it turns out that the holes are just slightly not drilled. Now there's 6 of them, they're not drilled exactly 60 degrees apart. Which I guess is why the instructions say this will only fit one way, you should mark it. So while I'm not putting the same one back on, there's nothing to mark. But at least now I know why. And this is also one of those important parts that you have to like torque very carefully to get it exactly balanced so that everything works out beautifully. It's a shame they made this such a pretty blue color. Nobody's ever going to see it after this. And somewhere here let's keep it secured. Alright, let's work on the exhaust manifold. Time to take off the old heat wrap. Definitely past its prime if it's coming off in pieces like this. Oh, and they just twisted it and went from one to the other. Ah, heat shield foul. This, I don't know what this is doing. I mean, these pipes are strong enough to hold themselves together without it, and it's not holding on any heat shield, so guess that can go. And that is the remaining pile of filth. This little figure 8 knot here. Last time I was visiting my brother, he had a project and said, "Hey, do you know anything about knots?" I said, "Well, I used to be a rock climber. I have trusted my very existence on this planet to my ability to tie a halfway decent knot." And then we subsequently used knots to keep his trees from falling over in the breeze. A little less life-threatening, but still a useful skill. Oh, dust. Yay. See if these are actually strong enough to do what I want to do. I have a sudden sensation that though these may be strong enough to hold, they're maybe not strong enough to pull. So let's just make a guesstimate as to where this needs to end up-ish. Stay. Guess this would be easier with the helper, wouldn't it? Alright, not strong enough. 30 minutes later. And on my second attempt, using much thicker cord, I've managed to suspend my exhaust manifold into the air so that we can get this sprayed with some high temperature paint before we put it back on. It becomes very obvious that the previous owner did all his work over in that end of the garage, because there's only one lonely light on this side of the garage, and it's very much a switch lamp as opposed to the other ones, which are actually wired into a wall switch. Not that it matters. Nothing with this has to be really super visible. Just getting the surface coat of rust off of this so we can primer things. It's kind of funny, I haven't been recording this whole time because I'm like, who wants to watch somebody just brush an exhaust manifold for a half hour? And I got to the halfway point and I started thinking, you know, there is like every kind of interest on YouTube, and it is entirely possible that there is an entire community of people who would love to just watch something being bristle brushed, or maybe just the sound. I don't know, maybe that would stimulate the whole ASMR thing. Like, I don't know. Here, let me know in the comments what you think. I mean, there's definitely weirder things out there that people are subscribing to on Patreon and OnlyFans. The one PA I work with persistently calls it fans only to, you know, make us think that he doesn't know exactly what it is and doesn't spend a lot of time and money on there. But none of us are fooled. Alright, so my end point was basically when I can hear, no longer hear shit hitting the plastic underneath, I guess, is probably the best way to describe that. Alright, time to put down some, well no, I already have some plastic down, but there's extra lumber here, so I should move the lumber or put plastic over the lumber, get the camera out of the splash zone. Tell me you worked at SeaWorld without telling me you worked at SeaWorld. Get the camera out of the splash zone, get the beer out of the splash zone, let this dry off, and start up the ventilation fan, and then we can coat this. Wipe tip when finished. I should probably give that advice out in the ER to guys more often than I already do. Really, the funniest thing about using the mask and everything is that I never bought the mask with the intention to use it for painting because I did comparatively little of that. I bought it when I had chickens and I wanted to be able to clean out the coop without inhaling pounds and pounds of chicken poop dust and getting psittacosis or whatever you can get from chicken poop dust. I guess it depends on how you look at it, but the mask either prevents, well, I mean, I guess the mask keeps you from getting as high as you would from all those paint fumes, so that's either a good thing or a bad thing, I guess, depending on whether you want that paint fume hangover the next day. So, but that's enough for this episode, and I'll see you in a couple weeks. If you had half as much fun as I did, I had twice as much fun as you. Milano, play us out. In case we haven't covered this piece of advice before, always wipe tip when done. And now you know. And knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe.